Hey, you are now locked in to Hard Reset with Jeuse Kastoan. Let's go. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. So, this episode, I'm gonna let you know about my music. Not necessarily like go through the discography and things of that nature, because, I can do that for another time, but this is more so about getting to know, well, Juice. I'm gonna let you know where the name came from, what it means to me, and how it all came about. So, I've pretty much been writing music since I was a kid and went through many name changes, more notably in my high school in Texas. I went by the name J Cass. And that was like the first time where I was like actually putting my music out there for people to listen and people actually fucked with it. So um that was the first time I actually, had a name in general. And that's when MySpace was popping. Had a lot of plays on MySpace, like the whole nine. I was grinding hard, adding people on my profile, trying to get whoever could listen to it just to listen to it. Once I went to college, I wanted to change. I wanted to separate myself from my name that I had in high school. And the nickname I actually had in high school wasn't J Cass. The nickname I actually had in high school was Juice. They never gave me a good reason for the actual name. It's actually pretty stupid. And actually, it wasn't even Juice, it was Juicy, which doesn't make it sound any better. And then I asked them why, and they're like, "Cause you're juicy, like you're juicy." I'm like, "What the hell does that even mean, bro?" Um, so after them giving me that name in like middle school, I got to high school. My high school basketball coach, he was like, "I'm not calling another grown man Juice, so your name's Juice." And then at that point on, that's when it stuck. Um, when I got to college and I started using the name Juice, I added Castone at the end because my last name is very similar to that. So I, switched the spelling a little bit on certain stuff, and basically that's how I came up with my name. Juice is my nickname, and Castone is a part of my last name, just spelled weird. Um, Juice itself, I definitely changed the spelling of it. So I did that just for aesthetics, and I wanted it to look better than just having Juice. And then there's already like I think there was already a rapper named Juice that was signed by Game at that point in time. And then you had Juicy J. So I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna have my name spelled like that. If I'm gonna go by Juice, I'm gonna spell it different. So that's where you got the Jeuse. And the persona was meant to be me, you know. Would it be the full 100% me? I can't say whether it would be the full 100% me. I could just say that it's the me that I'm expressing through my music. So, and my music is very melancholic. It was, it's very emotional. And even then, before then, it was actually very aggressive back in my J Cast days. And, I made music as Jeuse Kastoan, and it was a lot more aggressive. But over time, I was still nervous about putting my music out as Jeuse Kastoan, even though I had already put it out in high school as J Cast for some reason. I was just scared because I don't know, the pressure just felt different. So, I didn't actually release music for years, decades. I even joined the Navy. I had music I was sitting on that I just didn't release. And one thing about me is I always have my music with me. So I always have my hard drives with my songs on there. I don't know why I brought them with me. I just wanted them close to me and they meant something to me. And, I just didn't release music. And then, after everything happened in the Navy with my suicide attempt and everything, and I got back to California, I was like, man, let me just go. Let me just go for it. Fuck it. Who cares? Let me just try. And at least I did that. If it fails, it fails. But at least I got my music out and hopefully it'll help somebody. So I started releasing music in 2019 as Jeuse Kastoan. And that's where we are now. I've been releasing music ever since. Music is an outlet. It's a way I can vent and express myself and be able to say how I feel and without having to go to a therapist. I do go to a therapist now because I feel it's very important to actually go to a therapist and get your thoughts out. But music is another way that I do that and get my thoughts and feelings out. Um, I don't write as often as I used to. It actually it comes in spurts, I guess you could say, phases. I'll go through a 2 to 3 month phase where ideas are just flowing and I'm just writing and writing and writing and writing, making beats, finding beats. It's just the whole nine, just making stuff. And then I'll go through a whole year, year and a half, maybe even 2 years sometimes where I just don't feel like writing. I don't feel the inspiration. I don't know what to talk about or what to say. And I think it's mainly because I'm making it as I'm living life. So if I'm living life for a few years and I have all this stuff that I need to get out. So then I'll make my music and I'll put it all through the music. And then after I get all that out and release it, you know, it's uh it's like a good feeling to finally get those words out. And then I don't feel the need to really write. I don't feel the inspiration to really write because I don't have, excuse me, it's not like I don't have things to talk about, but I don't want to talk about anything at that moment in time. I'm still gathering my thoughts on everything and processing everything. So the idea of recording an album or recording a single is just not that appealing at that point in time. You know, I already got 5, 6 albums out. I got a whole bunch of singles. That's a lot of material. That's a lot of life. That's a lot to talk about. I still want to release more, but I also want to release them in my own time and, you know, release them accordingly. I got a son now, married. I'm more worried about life right now and make sure my family's good than recording. Now, every once in a while, I'll try to find time to write if I find inspiration. But for the most part, I'm focusing on living life, and then, after a while, then I'll go back to the studio and I'll make something else. Right now, last thing I dropped was Prosperity. I'll probably drop a deluxe album. I released some singles after that, so I'll drop a deluxe album with those singles and some extra songs. But as far as recording, I probably want to do that for a while. I couldn't tell you when I'm gonna start, but right now I'm comfortable with where I'm at and my pace in regards to making music. Um, Jeuse Kastoan himself is an artist. He's a producer. He's a rapper. A fan of many genres. He expresses himself. He expresses his pain through his music. Um, when you look at Jeuse Kastoan and you look at me, I mean, they're the same person. I don't try to put on a persona and be someone different on songs. I literally express myself and try to say how I'm truly feeling. So when you see Juice Kastoan, it truly is me. Now, when it comes to like the material and whatnot, if you look at the Juice Kastoan that came out with Dodo compared to the Juice Kastoan that's came out in Prosperity, there's two different people. Or you could say it's a person that's more evolved. I've evolved from Dodo phase. I've evolved from the Dodo to Say Less phase, and I'm in the Prosperity phase. I don't think the same as I did at that point in time, and you should expect that. After a few years, it would be weird for someone to think the same exact way that they thought before if they're going through life experiences. And for me, going through life experiences, I've changed over time. So things that I saw before, the way I thought about them, I can't say that I think the same as I did at that point in time. I just evolved. Juice Cat Stone, I mean, he's a real one. Not speaking about myself. I don't really like talking about myself, but if I had to talk about myself and say anything, I'm honest, straightforward, and empathetic. Um, I used to be an asshole and be very blunt about whatever I'm trying to say, but I've learned to be better with that. I've learned to be more delicate. Not everybody can handle stuff like that. Now, of course, you could be like, well, if they can't handle it, then they don't need to be around me because I'm a real nigga, shit like that. But I don't really see things that way. To me, everyone's different. Everyone has different tolerances, and You don't want to go out your way to make people feel bad, not really about themselves, but just in general. Well, I guess about themselves. Now, with that being said, you can, because I've lived it, you can be yourself, do your thing, not even be thinking about trying to harm nobody, not even do anything to spite anybody, and people still feel away, people still feel salty, especially if you're succeeding in whatever you do. But in the end, it all can, it all can come back. I don't know how else to say it. It all can come back. The people that you don't treat well, or people that you let them know you don't fuck with them and stuff like that, all that stuff can come back to you. They can have envy, they can be jealous, and want to put harm on you. If not put harm on you physically, they can put harm on you mentally, emotionally by doing certain things and try to get under your skin. It's like there's really no point in being that way. You can say I can handle it and whatnot, but regardless if you can handle it or not, all that shit is taxing if it keeps happening to you over time. At least that's what I've learned. Stuff can really take a toll on you after a while if you have to keep dealing with it over and over again. It's just like when you're dealing with police when you're young. The older you get, if you're dealing with police being crooked and stuff like that, and illegally searching your car and putting you in handcuffs just to put you in the back of the seat so they can illegally search your car, or just to send you a message and have you sit there with cuffs on, like this could be you if you fuck up. Like all that shit can be taxing after a while and affect your mental. So you wanna try to mitigate that and cut down on the possibilities of things possibly going wrong because you're just out there doing you and having no regard for anyone else or their feelings. All that stuff can go back towards you. So for me, I've learned for me to have more peace and for me to feel well and feel better, be more mindful of my impact on people. Just be more mindful. Now, of course, if you tell me, do I care if people dislike me? No, I don't care. It doesn't really bother me if someone dislikes me. But even then, regardless if they dislike me or not, I'm still not trying to go out my way to make their day bad. So, um, that's just how I feel about that. Other than that, this episode was really about, my name and how I came about it and, you know, who I am as Jeuse Kastoan and who I am as a person, without the name. Um, I don't know if I'll ever get my government, but, you know, Jeuse Kastoan's fine enough. I think Jeuse Kastoan's fine enough. Um, this is episode 2, so be sure to subscribe so you can know when the new episodes are dropping. I'll give you an official announcement later on about what days it'll be dropping. But you know, this is Juice Gaston, and this is Hard Reset. This was Hard Reset. Hopefully, you got some. Leave a comment, answer the polls. Go ahead and contact me at Juice Kastoan on Instagram, Twitter, everything to go and holler at your boy.
Mad thoughts just going through my head. Expectations have been met.